Low impact and full body toning. We're going to actually, though I don't have it sitting here, we're going to start with our ball, and we're going to do 2 versions of the ball walkout. One of them, if you'll sit on your ball, you're going to use your feet to do the walkout, which makes sense. And then once we get everything warmed up, we will then flip over and use our hands to do the walkout. How long has it been since you've been on your ball? Go into your curve. And as soon as you do that, you're like, oh, yeah, I get to work my abs. You absolutely get to work your abs. If you're on a slick surface and you haven't put your mat down, you might be inclined to let your feet slide, right? And bridge up and walk back. But I will tell you that you're trying to not take the easy road. So I have trained with people who they think that when they're in a training session with me, that they can get away with the foot slide thing without me commenting on it. And so I'll let them do a couple of them just to see if they'll put themselves back in check and go, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be in charge and actually in a controlled state. So once you're done playing, pick up the foot. The challenge is being able to pick up the foot and do the walk without feeling like you're going to fall off the ball, right? Bridge the hips, finding the sweet spot to stop yourself. So if you've already started your walk back, complete it, and then come back to the bridge hold. In the bridge hold, your shoulders and a little bit of that upper middle back, full support. The head is in full support in your neutral. This is worth a more conversation here. You can be so far down, forward, way too far forward, where your chin is then burrowed into your chest. And you're like, okay, that feels good, but yet that's not the right spot. You want to feel like your body really is in a neutral plane, and that when you lower your hips, because now you're going to do 5 bridges, when you lower your hips, the head doesn't pop off the ball. And if you're too far back, when you lower your hips, your neck will change positions, and then you'll be crimping the back of that neck. So there is much to be considered here for this movement that just seems like you're rocking the hips up and down on the ball. All right, as the hips come up, pause. So now you may be in an excessive S, but I want you to go into pelvic tilt, because from there, you're going to put your arms out. Do your fingers graze the floor? Are you able to rock a little bit from side to side? Because you're ensuring yourself that, okay, even if I did lose my balance, I wouldn't fall off the ball because the floor's right there. I want you to try to keep your hips up, your neck neutral, and I want you to march your feet. Belly to spine, buns are active, your feet are right under the knees. And even if you have to lower your hips a little bit, right, so that you can take the stress off your back and march your feet, I'm totally good with that, right? Do 5 more. Belly to spine, 4. You're like, wow, we're like starting right off getting into it. 3, 2, now. Push back a little bit, pick up your head, tuck your chin, engage your ab. Maybe you're like, I need to use the floor and the hand to get up. We always have options, right? Wheelbarrow walkout. The same rule applies. You might go and just let your hand slide out and go, oh, there's nothing too bad about that. You can do a few of those slightly playful moves, right? Like if you will try to be a little playful with it, it changes your thoughts about the ball training, right? We don't have to fear the ball. Now, the wider your legs are, the less the body's actually working, because the legs are being used to provide some of your stability, right? So as you walk back this time, close the gap between the legs, get in there nice and tight. And now I want you to start loading the hands. No sliding. If you can take the side edges of your feet and squeeze them together and then pinch your buns, you'll find that the ball may want to swing a little bit from side to side. So somewhere between having your legs really splayed open and closed together is your happy medium. The stronger you are, the tighter your line will be able to be held, right? And you'll be in control. What if you're like, oh my goodness, my wrists, I just can't take it. Can you make fists and turn your palms into each other? And maybe then what you do is you make smaller little hand walkouts, right? So that it's less stressful. It's going to take you longer to get in and out, right? But it actually becomes less stressful if your little walkout is really, 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 really tight. So you decide, palms flat or knuckles down, legs together, right? Buns tight. Now, stay in your forward walkout. Pull your shoulders out of your ears, pull the belly up like you're actually trying to round your spine a little bit. Squeeze your buns, shoulders out of the ears. Keep trying to do pelvic tilt, holding 5, 4, 3, 2. Ease yourself back. And as we come back and the feet find the floor, all right, your ball may permit you to easily come down to elbows, all right? If your ball is big like mine, on my elbows, my feet don't actually make contact with the floor, but that's okay because I know where we're going with this. So if you can get elbows down and shoulders directly over the elbows, you are going to squeeze the legs together. Slowly lift the legs, pinch the buns, and down. Lift, 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 squeeze, release, inhale. I was getting ready to say, unlike most of our low impact and toning classes, right? Normally we're standing, starting with our marching and our rhythmic limbering. You know, rhythmic limbering can take place in many fashions. I would consider this a nice gentle warm up for the body. So much is happening here that you have to stay really focused. And the reason why we're not using our hand plant on the floor, right, and we're on elbows, is I believe being on the elbows allows you to connect with your shoulders a little bit better. And not only that, we don't have the added stress point of what happens at the wrists. So your legs are moving slowly. You are not forcing your legs to come down to meet the floor. You're not forcing your legs to find the highest level you can lift them. You're only guiding the legs up till you feel like your legs are stiff and your body's at this nice, strong, controlled hold. And now that was your last one. So ease yourself back, walk the hands back, take your time. You are going to roll back and you're going to let your trunk relax down. Your knees may touch the floor, but that is not necessary component depending on the size of your ball. So if you're looking at the screen, okay, you're going to take your feet. I want you to relax the feet, right? And if you don't want to be on your knees, then your feet need to stay as a little bit of a push point. But what you're going to do more than anything is allow your head to draw chin to chest and then just let your spine relax. You're not bracing anymore. So take your arms, hug the ball. For me, I overlap my hands and I put my chin on my hands. And then I try to just relax the spine, and I hope what you're feeling is an oddly satisfying stretch all across your lumbar. So if you're not bracing, your body is stretching. And the stretch can be so intense, and the pressure of your belly on the ball, you might feel your pulse, right? Because we're loaded on that ball, and maybe you feel your heartbeat through your belly. Isn't that weird? Ease the head up, put knees down for a nanosecond, gently pushing out of it. Ooh, bring yourself up. Phase 2. We may come back to the ball a little bit later, so just get that out of the way. And now, pillow or Eric's pad into the equation. I want you to go into alternating step. All right. Up, up, down, switch legs. The tap down can be really challenging because when you come down, the body wants to fully load that down leg, but I want you to train yourself to just tap. And if you will permit your quarter turn, it will guide you so that you're going to be on the correct step leg, right? Because there's no options. You know that the leg closest to the step is the one that's supposed to be going into motion, right? 4 more. Up, up, down, and change. Move quickly or slowly, whatever works for you. On a pillow, off a pillow, it doesn't matter to me. You do what's good for you. 1 more each side. Finish on your next side, okay? And now I want you to square back up. Same leg, repeat, right? Now, this leg, if you're mirroring me, okay, this leg is going to stay on the step and the other leg is going to just step off and come back, right? Like this, right? We're going to speed it up though, right? Now, you're going to stay loaded on this leg and you're just going to tap back, up. If you don't need the up tap, then it puts you into what's called athletic ready position. But if this knee and ankle collapse, then it makes it very hard to not have to load on the back step. So you're going to take your eyes from the screen and you're going to look down and you're going to make sure that this knee is right over the foot. And if you can't maintain that, then you step off your support, right? That's not really a support, your accessory, because that's making it harder. And you stabilize yourself like that, right? You keep going. 4 more. 4, 3, shoulders out of the ears. You're looking down because you're fixed focus. 2, and relax, step off, marching feet. All right, leg number 2. Step up with leg number 2, up, down with the other leg. Rock back, right? Start looking down because you're tracking, you're letting that body identify that the knee needs to be over the foot and you're more loaded on the outside edge of the leg without the big toe lifting. I mean, it's a lot, right? So now tap up, tap down, up, down. If you don't need the up tap because you're dialed in and you're like locked in nice and solid, then your knee is going up. The arms become this extra thing, right? So if it's just all you can control to do your legs, and then you go to add the arms and you're like, which arm is supposed to push, pull? Opposite arm comes up to the lifting leg. And as soon as you do that, go back to the other side, just like this, okay? Because we're going to do a few more. Just get yourself ready. Because we didn't do the arms on the other leg. Squat down. Athletic ready has you buckled down into your loaded phase. And now look down. Pull the knee, tap it back. Pull the knee, tap it back. Swing the opposite arm forward in a bent position. right? If you've ever watched track and field, right, and they take off running, their arms are not straight. Their arms are doing this tight because that's a push-pull action. Pull it up, push it back. Pull it up, push it back. But some people use the wrong sides. You want opposite arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, release, relax. Get off your pillow. Just going to do some leg pattern stuff. Marching feet, clear your space. You're going to step touch. 2 step touches, 1 and 2. 2. 4 count step is all we're doing. And we're going to transition from basic step touch to your grapevine step. If the grapevine step doesn't come with ease, then you need to maintain double step touches. So try it. Grapevine, grapevine, double step touch, right? And what if, go back to grapevine, what if I'm calling out grapevine and you're actually doing double step touch? Does it matter? No, because we're all in a 4 count rhythm to each other. If your step is slower, that will be the only thing that is the difference, right? So it doesn't matter if you're doing grapevine or double step touch. I want you to alternate the 2 steps. Take grapevine, right? Grapevine, double step touch, right? And now you're like, okay, body's warming up, grapevine, right? Grapevine, double step touch. It becomes a lot to keep up with because your brain has to immediately change, and somehow we forget that there's 2 steps. What are we doing? Grapevine. You're like, I missed it. Double step touch. Push, push, push. Now, grapevine, finish with your grapevine to the other side, and you're coming back to single step touches. That wasn't so bad, right? We are going to do a walking 4 count step up and back. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit so that I don't knock the camera. All right. When both legs get to this side, we will start the 4 count walk step with this leg. Are you ready? 3, 2, walk forward to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep this leg walking. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a tap on the back, heel tap front, toe tap back, heel, toe, right? This is more like, oh, now we're back into old school aerobics class. Heel, toe, but this kind of gets boring. I mean, we could do a whole hour of this, right? But no, yawn. Come back next time. And you're going to go back to your step touches right here. Close it, step touch, shake it off. Stay in step touch mode. There's something that I heard recently. I was listening to somebody speak about something that he saw in the gym. When both legs get to this side, 3 more times, you're going to do your forward walk step with the other leg. 3, 2, forward walk, heel tap front, toe tap back. And now we're going to stay here while I tell my story. So when we talk about success stories and the things that motivate us, I think that I've shared with you all how you motivate me, but I heard the way this man interpreted some of the things that he sees in the gym that motivates him. And I thought, that's what it is. Like, he precisely hit the nail on the head, which allows me to share these words with you. Come back, basic step touch. Sometimes when I pay compliments to clients, tap out. They're slightly in disbelief that I could be complimenting them, because in their own frame of reference, they do not feel like they're doing anything that's worthy of praise, which is odd, right? Opposite hand down. And here's what it comes down to. Why am I continually impressed with people showing up for their training sessions with me, right? It's like you guys are happy to be coming into a training session, but the reward is really me having you come repeatedly. And how you inspire me is that in spite of the aches and the pains, kick back, in spite of the aches and the pains, you come. And my like oath that is to myself that I keep to the front is that when you're in my charge, I do my very best to not exasperate your pre-existing conditions, kick to the back. But yet I can be inspired by just the knowingness, step touch, of how hard it is to stay the course with something that you know is for the bigger picture of your life. And so for me, when I don't have heel taps to the front, when I don't have my own glitches kicking off, it's when people don't have issues and they make it to the gym, bravo. But it's actually more impressive for the people who actually have the glitches who show up, because we all know how hard it is to maintain consistency, focus, desire, right? And the realistic expectation of what's going to happen while you're participating. Shake it off. So I just used a lot of words. That's not exactly the way the guy said it, but it dawned on me that that's why I have such a love for what I do, is I get to get exposure to people who keep defying the odds, right? And that's what you guys do. And I think you're a great bunch, right? And it doesn't ever matter what shape you come in to see me in. We always try to, we always find the way to make it happen where you walk out and you go, I just did all of that, right? And I feel responsible to keep you in a really good frame of mind about what you've just done, even if you haven't impressed yourself. So you always impress me. And I just wanted you to know that. Shake it off, grab a little drink. We're going to get into our first light set, dare I say, shoulders. I think training the shoulders is really, really important. And I don't think there's a class that I teach that doesn't incorporate some shoulder aspect, whether it's strength or mobility. And in my humble opinion, they kind of both happen at the same time. All right. So I am sub-instructing today a boot camp class, which it's been so long since I taught boot camp. I'm laughing because of what the guidelines were for me from the woman who wants me to do the class. And it is the typical mindset of what people would expect from a boot camp class, right? So I hope that this is okay for you. Lateral raises. If you can't hold weight, then just try to do your arms. If your arms have a biting sensation as you start lifting them, then bend them a little bit more. Find the right degree of bent arm so that you're not pulling and collapsing through the neck, right? Keep long neck and try to go long arms. And my weights are 2s, right? I know I'm much stronger twos will challenge me because I know we're going to do about 15 to 20 of them. We have to already be halfway there, right? So I was happy that she reminded me of what the expectation is of what boot camp class really is. Now, she didn't say that to put me in check. I just asked her what was her expectation. Lift your arms and hold them. And I'm glad I did. Turn your palms up. Stop your feet. I'm glad that I asked her because it helped me reframe what my job for that hour needs to be. You see, because her people are not used to my methodology. And so I need to give them what they're paying for, which is going to get their butt kicked in the gym, lift and open. And there's a part of me, there's a huge part of me that cringes at that thought. Why? Why would I cringe at giving somebody a super hard workout? Because I don't know these people. And what happens when we don't know something? My suspicions towards people being able to do things properly is what alarms me about the effectiveness of what we're getting ready to do. Release the arms, palm to palm, bend the legs, stand up, thumb to thumb, bend the legs like you're doing that nice little squat. I'll show you something. Athletic ready. We could take off and do anything, right? So you're in squat mode. Stand up, squeeze your parts, pull the arms. The arm is slightly forward of your ear. Squat, hands right in front, pull up, squeeze your parts, bend down. This movement should feel very like, oh, I don't know, like they go together. Reach up, because you know, sometimes we do things that seem like it's two different parts of your brain that we're trying to get going. This feels like the arms and legs actually know what to do here because they float up. Arms go up, you stand up. Arms come down, you squat. 5 more. Inhale down, exhale up. 4, 3, 2, and maybe you can't move your arms. 1 more. Release arms, relax. If you need to set the weights down, do. We're going to go into our little rotation. Just like we do when we're in our mobility class, when you take your arm around you and you bend it back, that might tax the shoulder. If it does, then set the weight down. All right. If it does, then don't try to bend the arm back. Just let it come around you in a straighter capacity. Right? Push it around. How natural does it feel to allow the leg to get its full swivel, right? The full swivel to a slightly tight body that's got tightness through the hip flexor and adductor. The swivel will feel very much like a second movement because you'll have to work to finish it. Whereas limber body, the heel will just come around like it knows its job because it's tracking with the rest of your body. Arms up, arms down. Oh, arms up across the table and down. Arms up, arms back. 5 more. And now squeeze the bun, right? Lift, drop them, squeeze the bun. Lift the arms, cast around, down. Squeeze. 3 more. Squeeze. Ooh, if your weight is not properly positioned on the front leg, it might make it very hard to stop and release. You're done with these. Twisty board, hula hoop, back to your step. Whatever you feel is going to get your heart rate up for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. I'm going to use this fancy little hula hoop. There is something about me that I know all too well that I don't know if you guys know. Sometimes I start things that at the beginning seem, oh, I could actually really stick to that and get really, really good at that. And that's what I thought when I first decided that I was going to like take hula hoop class. And you know, I went to a couple of the classes and I liked it very much. But why didn't I stick with it? It wasn't my schedule. There was something about the structuredness of it, release and relax. Whatever you're doing, you're going to try to do something different for the next few seconds, right? I'm going to make mine try to go the other way. All right. So, oh no, this is my less proficient side. Though I love being impressed, right, by watching the instructor effortlessly do tricks with the hula hoop, I'm not prepared, release and relax. It dawned on me after a couple of classes that I wasn't going to make the commitment to actually ever get that proficient at it. And so I dabbled in it. And I dabbled enough to then go, okay, that's not going to work for me. And then I moved on, right? What did I move on to? My tap dancing lessons. And I'm sharing these stories with you. Chair, one heavier weight, dumbbell row, okay? If you wanted to put your knee on your chair, you could, right? But you don't have to. You can just use your arm as your brace, put your legs in wider squat position, maintain that nice lengthened lumbar. In the gym, we more often than not will set up on the bench. So if you're using your chair, this is important and why I'm going to come back to it. So often I see the setup, the foot that's on the floor, I see that leg way back, okay? And this is a common setup in the gym that is, in my opinion, not the best. If you're using your chair like this, I want the legs to be even with each other, and we want our spine in tabletop. You should feel like your shoulder is stacked over your wrist, right? Your spine is long and the arm is slightly tracking back because you glide your shoulder blade back and then you're able to pull the weight. It is not about how high you get the elbow. Now, once the elbow comes up and you've got your good squeeze, you could maybe do a little bit of twist, but the twist doesn't need to happen. Don't make the twist. If your body naturally pulls the elbow and you do this little push into the chair and you rotate your spine ever so slight, that's a little bit more engagement, but not at the sacrifice of not having the pulling arm in the right position. Whew, a lot of words. So I'm going to take my leg from the chair. I'm going to set up using my body brace, right? I prefer this. The chair isn't long enough for me to comfortably get arm, hand, and knee placement. 4 more. Push, pull, inhale, exhale, 3, exhale, 2, stand up, pull it up. Woo. Before you switch arms, you're keeping your weight. Sit on your chair. How much of the class do you actually need to do? You're already 35 minutes into your workout, which by most standards is enough engagement. If you don't feel like doing the whole class, do a couple stretches, walk away, and feel yourself having completed, a good portion of the exercise. Hold the weight, shoulders out of the ears, right? Take your elbows, squeeze them into the trunk, pull your belly in, stand up, look down. Can you get the big toe edges of your feet together? And now push your knees together. Sit down. Ooh. When you stand up, try not to let the knees separate. Keep the big toes touching the floor, knees pushing in. Raise the chest from the thighs. Stand up. Squeeze. Now, so here's the thing. If you hold your chin up when you sit down, what does that do to the neck? I see this a lot. I see the cranking of the jawline up, right? Finding neutral is really a constant awareness of where are all of your parts, right? I'm looking forward and down because I'm trying to keep the back of my neck long. My shoulders are down. The inside of the arms are being pulled in towards my torso, right? I'm actively pushing my knees together in the squat. And not only that, I feel my heels load, right? 3 more, up and down. Your legs are so strong that you could, I'm sure, hold twice the amount of weight. I know if you had your other dumbbell, you'd be fine. But I'm saying that we have so much more capacity than we give ourselves credit for, right? Do 1 more. But the things that we do in class keep us going for all of the things that we require of ourselves in the course of our day, right? I would imagine that it's not very often when you think about undertaking a task that you're like, I can't do that. More often it's, I can do that. I mean, I find myself doing that with a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't be doing because of the precarious nature of it. But I'm like, I'll know if it's too much. Yep. And I know that you guys have to be the same way. I call that sometimes we overcommit ourselves, right? Because we just don't see ourselves as weak and frail. And that frame of mind is actually really powerful. I don't want to discourage you from that. Here you go. You decide. You're going to have hand and knee on the chair, or you're using your chair as your brace and your body is in tabletop spine. You're allowing your arm to reach, and then it goes a little bit lower, but not if you're in C curve. In C curve, you can keep pumping and listening, right? In C curve, if your arm is overly reaching to the down, you will feel a stress all across your lumbar. That should be where you're like, oh, something's wrong. You have to learn how to bend your legs and shove your hips back, get your shoulders out of the ears. As the elbow starts tracking up towards your torso, squeeze it in to the body, stretch and pull. Inhale down, exhale up, inhale. Can I just bring your attention to your pinky on the weight? Sometimes we hold the weight so loosely, right? Grip that weight, right? I want you to feel like what you're pulling up is actually really heavy. And so you have to make a tighter hand grip to get it up. You can release the tight hand grip on the down, reset it on the up. 5 more. Belly to spine. If your back is fatiguing, stand up. Get out of the move. Exhale up. You've got 2 more. The arm that's on the chair is pushing you away from the floor. Inhale. Stand. back to your squat. Exactly what we did first set. Here we go. Just for the sake of more, how handy is your towel or your yoga block? It could even be your RX pad. Go get it. I'm going to use my towel. We need to make sure that the muscles along the inside of the legs do their job. All right. So with the side edges of the big toes touching a little space at your heels, put whatever you're going to use right between your legs and then squeeze it. And this way, with certainty, we'll know that the knees are staying together, because whatever you're holding will drop if you take your focus away from that. Set the weight up, draw the shoulders out of the ears, sit up nice and tall, feel yourself load your heels, rock forward like something is helping you up. And now squeeze glutes and whatever is between your legs. Start lowering yourself, feel your weight shift back into your heels, sit, stand and squeeze. We're going to do 12. Inhale down. 12 is a random number. Maybe you're like, oh no, I'm not. Do your 5, do your 6. Maybe you stop at 1 and go, that was too much. If it's too much, set the weight down and try to keep using just your body and your little accessory. I'm intentionally going very slow in the lowering phase. We don't want to pop up and down. There's a time when we want to work fast. This is not it. With this, you want to feel like your ribs, right? The chest to rib line is extended. That's crucial. And I lost count, but we'll say we're going to do 4 more, okay? On your down, feel if you have an even weight distribution all the way down. Does your body favor one side? I can't tell you how often I see that. Slow it down. Think about it. Shoulders out of the ears, chest lifted up. You're looking forward and probably slightly down, so your neck is neutral. Give me 1 more. Go slow. Pull the elbows down. Push the hips back. Wow. Release and relax. Okay. Whew. You ready to go to the floor? Using the foam roller, we're going to be doing glute activation. Actually, it's going to seem like we're setting up. Keep one of your weights because we're going to go into overhead triceps on the floor with the dumbbell, and put your chair out of the way. Can I just say, all right, ball. I got a lot of stuff I want to get done on the floor. So you might not have a good way to keep track of the ball, right, close to you. I'm going to try to keep it there so I can get hold of it. Put your stuff down, grabbing your foam roller, your dumbbells close by so that you don't have to get up and down, right? Your extra little cushion for your head. When we're not in bridge, you might need extra head support, right? There's no rush. Take your time. Okay, so the foam roller is going to be used in the capacity of propping up the hips so that we can fire up our derriere. And as you settle into it, since we're going to be in bridge mode, you do not need the cushion under your head because your elevated hips will help your neck find the right position. Okay, so take a moment. You don't have to have the 3-foot long foam roller. And what if the foam roller you have is a nubby foam roller? If the nubbiness of it is too sensory, disturbing to your back body, then you could just put a more oblong shaped pillow under your hip region, and that would suffice, right? Okay. All we're trying to do is elevate our hips so that we can get a fired up glute. Settle the neck and shoulders. One leg is off the floor. The foam roller needs to be at your SI joints and not the low back. That is the caveat to this, okay? So now the one leg stays high. The foot comes up just to be in your sight line. And then the down leg becomes the worker leg. I want you to pull your navel in, start pushing that down foot to the floor, squeeze your buns. You are not going to lift your body from the foam roller. You're setting up as if you're going to lift, but you're not actually going to lift. And then stop engaging. Whew. All right. If your foot that's on the floor is way out in front of the knee, you're going to have a harder time activating. It's not wrong though. It just changes the muscle work to be a different part of the leg. So we're going to do 3 with it tightly pulled under us, and then we'll slide it forward a little bit to get the different feeling. From right to left shoulder, open up across the front of your body, and then draw the ribs down and go into pelvic tilt. Push the foot into the floor harder, including your big toe. And now hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, stop pushing. Whew. Belly to spine, ribs down. Activate, push the foot into the floor, make the big toe participate. Look at your high foot, right? And stop pushing. And now slide your down leg a little bit further forward. It's going to be harder to control. Are you ready? Pelvic tilt. The high knee is drawn in, right? That's going to keep the load off the back. Pelvic tilt. Push that foot into the floor and see if it doesn't fire up your hamstring in this wicked way. Ready? Foot is slightly forward. Here we go. Pull your high knee to you. Rock ribs and pelvic tilt into place. And now engage the glute. Push the foot into the floor like you're trying to lift your body, and release. Switch the legs out. Oh, man. I hope that you felt your hamstring. That is such an undervalued muscle, I think. I don't think we think about how much our hamstring is really supposed to do for us all day, right? Because it's on the back body. We don't see those muscles. So we're like disconnected from the parts of us that we don't see. Okay. Your other leg, pull it under you nice and tight. Start rocking the ribs down, squeezing the buns, get your high foot in your sight line, right? Push that foot into the floor, including your big toe. Try to brace the body high enough as if you were taking some of the load off the foam roller, and release. Inhale. Set the ribs, pelvic tilt, squeeze the bun, push down into that foot on the floor, and release. Again, ribs, pelvic tilt, belly to spine, buns tight, push, 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 and release. Slide the foot forward a couple of inches. That's it. You're like, okay, I'm ready to start. Where your ribs are is really important as it relates to, if the ribs are popped up, then you're in a compromised back position. Get those ribs into the body so that you're in pelvic tilt, and then bear down into the foot. Oh my gosh, it happens. It's just, as soon as you start pushing against your foot, you should feel that back thigh muscle go, oh, that's where you are. Ready? Shoulders out of the ears, hunker the ribs down, pelvic tilt, push the foot into the floor, get that big toe active, and release. Both feet down. See, second leg went much faster, right? Slide the foam out from under you. Wow. I hope I'm not the only one that fired that muscle up this morning. Okay, you are officially done with your foam roller. We're going to do a tricep move, which now's about a good time to put your extra head support back into the equation. Grab your dumbbell. Okay. Did you choose a 3, a 5, a 6er? What'd you put? I got an 8, okay? But I know what to do with it. So your free hand is going to be at the wrist of the loaded hand. The loaded arm is going to bend like you're trying to touch your ear. Actually, I'm going to do it with the arm that is closest to the camera first. All right, so here we go. The elbow stays high. The dumbbell moves towards your ear. The elbow needs to stay vertical. If you need your assist hand, that is to get you through the sticking point if you've selected too heavy of a weight. So you're like, well, I don't know if I've got a weight that's too heavy. Lower the arm, take it into its hinge, right? Start pushing up. And if the elbow moves forward, you probably have too much weight. If you cannot keep your elbow to shoulder alignment, right, without feeling like the elbow starts bowing out away from the body, you've got too much weight. Pull the low back down into the floor, squeeze your derriere, assist if you need it, push and hinge. You're aiming for your ear, not your forehead. That's a whole different movement. Push it up. Keep tightening the middle body. Inhale, exhale, right? Do one more. Switch sides. And it really is amazing what a couple of pounds, sometimes even as little as 1 extra pound of weight for a movement that you're used to doing, right? If you're used to doing 3 pounds and you decided, oh, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to try 5 pounds today, you might be really surprised at what the muscle weakness is. But that's why you learn how to assist yourself. And it's that other arm. The fingers are at the wrist. You're doing a slow lowering. We go slowly. Okay. You have concentric and eccentric loading phases. When the arm is bending, go slow. That's eccentric load. Now push it up. That's the tricep at its fully connected position. Concentric. Slow on the down, slow on the down, slow on the down. We need to have as much control, it's called a negative, in the lowering phase as we have in the driving phase. And so often people only train the control in the driving phase of movement. Slow yourself down. But yet the biggest rewards will often come when you're able to control the negative. Push. Do one more. Inhale down. Oh, yeah. Drive it up. That's all I know my triceps need. So set that off to the side. We're going to finish strong, okay? I want you to get your ball. Maybe you thought, oh, we're finally going to be done once you did the push downs with your leg when you were on the foam roller. right? Maybe you're like, oh, the legs are almost done. They are almost done. But I think the ball aids in an awareness, right, of your back body line. So not only that, it becomes this balance thing, okay? So you can feel really strong. And then we'll put something like a ball move into the equation. And you're like, why can't I control that? No pillow for your head. Take it away. From the mid calf to the heel, you have connection to the ball, right? That's important. You have enough connection to control. Pelvic tilt. Pull your toes towards you without letting the feet separate. Oh, just flex the feet and bring the side edges together. If you did nothing more than try to maintain that, I will tell you, your movement's going to be hard enough. Slowly, with the shoulders pulled out of the ears, belly tight, lift the hips without losing flexed feet, stiff legs, and the feet connected to each other. Hips are up. Now, if your neck is in the right spot and your ribs and the chest are not bowed up, you should be able to draw your attention to your feet. Wow. What funky angle are they taking? Bridging, belly to spine. If you've lowered yourself down, you cheated. All right. If you had to lower yourself down because you're so wiggly that you can't control the hold position, try to set yourself back up. The neck is long. Focus on your feet. Try to bring the pinky edge side of the feet towards you. Pull the side edges of your feet towards you. We're trying to isometrically train some muscles that slack off. And that's why this is so hard. Belly to spine, side edges of the feet touching. The feet are in hard flex, and you're trying to bring the pinky edge side of your foot towards you. Look at your feet if you can, and then relax. Wow. Take one leg, set it across the other thigh. Your ball, this is your reward. It's your little piriformis stretch. If your pillow is handy, since your hips are not going to be coming back off the floor, pull your little pillow back into the equation. This is your gentle hip stretch. Roll in, push out. You get to let your body relax. You did it. I really do feel like I need to have a shirt made that says you've successfully completed this portion of your day, right? Because that's what I feel about exercise. It's a portion of your day, right? And then you move on and you're like, yeah, I did it. It's your commitment to you. Sometimes this is the only thing that you truly get to take time as a designation for you, right? Switch sides. And I'm so glad you share that time with me. Okay, so as your leg is coming in, maybe you have to take your hands, right, and like gently guide them in because you find that, wow, surprisingly tight through the outer hip. Maybe the knee wants to draw to your chest. Go ahead and grab it. Help it come in a little bit more. Don't fight the angle that the body naturally wants to go. What you're going to draw your attention to now that you realize that you can assist your leg to get closer is you're going to watch the leg that's connected to the ball. It's that foot that's really important. As your legs get closer to you, if the foot that's on the ball stops tracking in line with the knee and the hip of that leg, then you've got a problem. All right. So unchecked, your leg that's on the ball may torque itself. And you want to go and identify that that needs to be cleaned up. The ankle, the knee, and the hip of the leg that's on the ball run in a true track line. You can pull the other leg in to help, but don't lose the tracking. This is your last one. Pull it in. Pulling, pulling, pulling. Keep your tailbone on the floor. Everything is getting a nice stretch and release. Last but not least, okay, here we go. About 10 to 20 seconds worth. Put your legs over the ball, not too wide, just comfortable. We are not going to fire up the obliques. You're doing a very small little side to side rock. Your neck, keep adjusting your neck so it's in neutral. Your back is nice and flat to the floor. The shoulders have no stress. The arms are elongated with the palms up position. This rocking from side to side should feel so soothing to the point that sometimes when we're in a soothing position, we actually desire more. Like we feel like it needs to be more than. Why can't we just embrace it for the little bit of release that you're getting, where your body gets to receive the stretch with no fight, right? Come back to neutral. Wow. Let the body relax. Now, since you're so relaxed, be careful getting up. You are done and you are free to roam. So